There's a sound we often overlook. It's not loud. It doesn't interrupt. It doesn't seek attention. In fact, it hides in the spaces between words. But when used with intention, it can speak louder than any voice. It can build trust, destroy egos, reveal love, and expose deception. That sound is silence. We live in an age where speaking is seen as strength, where opinions are constantly shouted, where people interrupt to be heard, not to understand, and where silence is often misunderstood as weakness. But what if I told you? Silence is one of the most powerful tools in human interaction, not emptiness, not absence, but presence. Silence is not passive, it's active. It listens, it observes, it absorbs. You see, when you strip away noise, something magical happens. You begin to feel, you begin to see, you begin to connect, not just with others, but with yourself. Let's start here. Think of the last time you were truly silent with someone. No small talk, no filling the space, just presence. That moment, however rare, was likely one of the deepest human connections you've experienced. Because silence reveals truth. In psychology, silence is known as a mirror. Therapists use it as a tool. When a client stops talking, the therapist doesn't always jump in. They wait. Why? Because in that waiting, in that silence, the client often speaks again, and what they say next is usually the truth. Silence breaks down defense mechanisms. It makes people uncomfortable, and in that discomfort comes honesty. Even in everyday conversations, silence forces reflection. It slows us down. It gives space to process, to breathe, to truly listen. It's not an interruption. It's an invitation. In conflict, silence can either be a shield or a weapon. When used wisely, it disarms rage. It creates space for understanding. It sends a powerful message: I don't need to react. I'm grounded. But when used carelessly, it becomes a wall. The silence after betrayal. The quiet withdrawal in a dying relationship. The lack of words when someone needed you to speak. So yes, silence is powerful. But like all power, it must be used with intention, because silence can heal or hurt. In love, silence is often misinterpreted. We expect constant affection, validation, words of affirmation, but the deepest form of love doesn't always speak. Sometimes it just sits with you in your pain. Sometimes it watches you sleep and whispers nothing. Sometimes it doesn't say I love you because it's already been shown 100 other ways. There's a reason some of the most intimate moments are wordless. A shared glance, a held hand, a hug that lingers. These are the moments that don't need language, because the soul has already spoken. Let's step into the realm of leadership and strategy. Great leaders know how to use silence. They pause before answering. They let others speak first. They observe more than they declare, because silence gives them power. It gives them information. It gives them control. In negotiations, silence is gold. When someone makes an offer and you stay quiet, they often rush to fill the space. They reveal more. They doubt themselves. They change their terms. And you didn't even say a word. That's not manipulation. That's mastery. Even ancient warriors knew this. The greatest battles were often won through patience and observation. The art of war begins with silence. Culturally, silence is sacred in many parts of the world. In Japan, there's the concept of ma, the space between things. In music, it's the pause between notes. In conversation, it's the gap that gives words their weight. In life, it's the breath between actions. Ma is not emptiness, it's awareness. In Native American traditions, silence is respect. In counsel, you don't interrupt. You let the speaker finish, not because you're quiet, but because you're listening. And when you do speak, your words carry meaning, not noise. In Hindu and Buddhist practices, silence is spiritual. Monks spend years in meditation, not to escape the world, but to understand it, to hear what the noise hides. In Christianity, even God's greatest messages were delivered in silence. A whisper in a cave, a moment in the desert, a still small voice. All across time, silence has meant presence, depth, power. But in today's world, we run from it. We plug in, we scroll, we talk over, we panic in the pause. Because silence demands something we're not used to giving ourselves. It forces us to confront what's inside, our fears, our doubts, our regrets, and most of us are terrified of what we'll hear. But that's exactly why silence matters. Because in those quiet moments, we finally begin to heal. True growth doesn't happen in noise. It happens in reflection, in solitude, in silence. So, what can we do with this? We can start using silence not as a sign of discomfort, but as a form of wisdom. Next time someone shares something vulnerable, don't rush to respond. Let silence hold the space. Let them feel seen. Next time you're in an argument, pause. Not to win, but to understand. Next time you're in love, embrace the quiet moments, because that's where trust grows. It might just be the conversation you've been avoiding with yourself. In the end, silence is not a void. It is not absence. It is not nothingness. It is the deepest language we possess. It speaks when we are wise. It listens when others need us. It heals when words cannot. And it connects us, beyond ego, beyond language, beyond time. Because in silence, we find clarity. In silence, we find truth. And in silence, we find ourselves. This was Mindveil. If this message spoke to something deeper inside you, don't rush to share it. Sit with it. Breathe with it. Let the silence linger and allow it to change you. Until next time, be silent. Be present. Be powerful.